Hey everyone, Nexus here. So, as you know, a couple weeks ago, I think, maybe 2 weeks ago or so, I did an unboxing for Nokia Lumia 710. And so I've done a little bit playing around with the phone, and I said, okay, let's do our hands-on and let's see what the phone's about, and let me let you guys know what I thought. However, I want to kind of give you some backstory on why we were kind of interested in this phone more so. For those who've been watching us loyally, and I know some of you have, and if you haven't, go check out our channel. We are TMPG, that's the main one. We did a three-part video on the CES, and in one of those parts, I believe it was part 2, we talk about Nokia. And we talk about, you see, Nokia was kind of the big company out there. At one time, they were the consumer phone king, right? Everyone had Nokia. You remember your 3360s, 3320s? Yeah. Everyone had a Nokia, didn't they? So, if everyone had a Nokia, Nokia was the king of the mobile world at one point, and with Android and Apple, they kind of lost their way. So they said they're coming back, they want to take back the market by storm, and in order to do so, they decided to go with the Windows Mobile platform. Now, we didn't outright condemn them for it, but we did question it. You know, if you want to take back the market, can you do it with a platform that doesn't even have a large market share and is not well established? You know, we wondered about it, but we said, okay, well, let's see what happens. And Nokia came out with the Lumia line, which has been, it's received very good reviews thus far. But we said, you know what, we're still kind of speculating. Let's take a look. So now we've done the Nokia 710. So let's take a look at this phone and see what we thought. So, now the phone itself is actually, it's well built, and it does have this nice feel to it. The weight, there is some weight to it. It certainly feels heavier than my current phone, the Samsung Galaxy 2. But not extensively, and it gives this feel of quality. It does, I'm not going to lie. It does feel well built and well put together, but you kind of expect that from Nokias, you know? Now, the phone itself, let's open that up there, does a lot of things well, and does a lot of things I dislike, and I'm going to tell you about a little bit of those here. So, looking at the phone itself, when you look at the menus. Now, if you want, by the way, if you guys are looking for specs and stuff, go check out my unboxing. I did talk about the specs there. You know, like the Snapdragon processor, the flash, and the 5 megapixel camera, things like that. I do talk about. There you go there. But if you're looking for the actual specs, go check that out. Otherwise, this is just more of a day-to-day use on the phone. So the first thing I do like is there is a lot of functionality in here. Now I do know it's not coming in clearly due to the very bright red. It's not focusing properly apparently. But I'll give you an idea. So you got your calls over here. You have people, so that's obviously your contacts. You know, you got your email set up, your messaging, your My Account for if you're with Rogers with this. Your music's over here. You have a Nokia Drive, which is just like a GPS/drive system, like a reduced functionality. Of course, Maps, Internet Explorer, Xbox Live, calendars, photos. You got here your Zune Music, your Marketplace. This is where they promo some of the apps and stuff like that, like, you know, featured apps, things like that. And then, of course, Ringbacks again with Rogers. So, how do we feel with the phone in itself? The phone does a lot of things good, but for everything it does good, there feels like there's something a little bit wrong with it. First off, I do like a lot of the functionality in regards to synchronization. You know, of course, if you're a bit, especially if you're a big Microsoft person and you have like your Xbox and you can connect your Xbox Live, you can use your Zune Music, you know, you have Xbox Live ID, this phone will function really well for you because you can synchronize all of that together. Of course, you can also synchronize your Facebook, things like that on here as well, but that's kind of the main thing because it's a Windows phone. Of course, you're synchronizing to other Microsoft products, and they do it fairly well. When we did have the Xbox Live synchronized at one point, you can see all your gamer scores, you can see all your friends, you can see all sorts of different things. There's even some games in the marketplace you could download that are exclusive for the Windows mobile device, but then can add to your achievement score. So if you love racking in those achievements, boom, there's an option for you there. You'll also notice that the phone is very fluid. Even when we had loaded it up with a bit of apps, it was very fluid in how it worked. There was very little slowdown. The thing to note with that is that I find this kind of in between Apple and Android. You see, Android is good in a lot of respects, but the one thing that they kind of do fail on is that because there's so many different versions of the OS out there and so many different types of builds and so many different things going on with it, that you do get a lot of inconsistencies and software issues and things like that. You know, one person buys a Samsung's being much different from a Motorola. But it's it's got that versatility. You can choose the device you want. Then you've got Apple, who's got a much more stable OS, but it's also built on one device. So if you want their OS, guess what, guys? You're getting an iPhone, right? And people are okay with that, but that's just the way it is. This is kind of a little bit of both. This is a stable OS that won't change significantly between phones. It may get a little upgrade here and there, but it won't change significantly between all the phones that do adopt it. However, you will see it in a lot of phones. It's going to be in a lot of different phones out there and things, and that kind of lends credence to the fact that this could very well be the potential to be the most stable and secure device hardware out there, software out there. However, as you know, their market share is very small. They've kind of did too little, too late, and although they've done some nice things like with this tiles, is it enough? Now, there are some other things too. Like for example, when you go in here, you'll notice that when you flip, it is very, very fluid. Right? Now, when you compare it to something like an Android device or even the iPhone, I don't feel it's quite as fluid as this. So this, everything does move crisply in response. Even after, again, loading up the phone a bit, it did move very, very crisp. But there is some problems with here. Okay, now, whereas everything is nicely laid out for your initial tiles and everything like that, it does become cumbersome to use when you try and go into things. That is the case with Windows in general. Like if you're a big Windows user, you'll know that there's too many menus for too many things. I'll give you an example. When you go into your contacts here, your people, right? Let's see here. Right, if you want to set up and you're looking to do all your setup and everything just when you have everything here. Sorry, this is not the menu I was looking for. I was looking for this one. Sorry. This is what I was looking for. So you see, now you're looking into your contacts. Now when you're going to go in here and you want to make calls, there's no longer the swipe function. You've got to come in here and you've got to press everything and move. And of course, even this, this does function very well. But then everything feels like it's just like you want to add something, you got to do. It just feels like there's so many menus to go through everything, And it just hurts the phone in itself. You want to go into your people you want to synchronize. You can synchronize. I'll give you an example. I had in here my Facebook contacts and email contacts and my regular contacts. Now, when everyone is in there, now of course I cleared them because I don't want you guys to see all my stuff, right? Yeah, exactly. No calling me when you get a chance. Anyways, but when I did have everything here, it was very, very awkward to navigate when you're trying to trying to navigate through everything and move across everyone and trying to see everything. Everything seemed confusing and cumbersome. Not as fluid as you would see on your iOS device or Android device. Now, setting-wise, over here is the second menu, and I find this to be cumbersome as well. The reason for it is while they have everything here, there's so much stuff in this menu that didn't need to be here. Not in the sense they shouldn't be in the phone, they just shouldn't be here. I'll give you an example. Nokia Drive is right here. It's also right over here. So again, put this in a subfolder with GPS and everything like that, with your maps. Put that in a folder that's accessible through here, but you're not grouping everything together. Even here when you're looking through and you have your contact transfer. Right there, sorry. There's contacts transfer. Let's get closer. I know it's kind of blurry, sorry guys. Anyways, contacts transfer. Why is this something here that you will not use on a day-to-day basis? Right? This is why we have this right here, settings. You put things like contact transfer, you put things like your My Account or help and how to, you put all those in the settings, so you're reducing this menu. So although it does move crisp, it's way bigger than it needed to be. There could have been a grouping of stuff that could have actually made this much more fluid and much easier to use. And again, this is the problem with Microsoft, is Microsoft always makes things so much more. There's more menus than they need to be, and there's more things than needs to be. Like this could move very well, but it could have moved better, right? Again, some things like, for example, you have your Office here. You have, see again, like My Account, music and videos. Those are all in this menu right beside it here, right? If this was like I had to click settings and then go into here and stuff, I can understand. But it's literally one swipe over. Why have it so redundant where it's over here and over here? Just doesn't make sense. Things like the calculator, alarm, calendar, camera, I can understand those being here. Like, that makes perfect sense. But why have them, here? It just created a lot of redundancy in the phone. Now, at the end, let's give a final result. it won't replace my Android device. It won't replace an iOS device. Not at this time anyways. The potential is there though, guys. The potential is there. As we've used this, me and Daddy 1424 did both work with it a little bit, and we found that there is a lot of potential in this Microsoft OS. I've used Windows-based phones before, and I found them incredibly cumbersome to use because it was literally like they just... Again, you had no touch screens at the time when I did use it. That's how long ago it was. And then, you just like trying to navigate, like Windows XP, but then everything was done with like a scroll pad that you had to scroll through, and it just became really, really hard because, again, it was menu after menu after menu, and you click on that menu, it's another menu, and then there's another menu, and then it's another menu. It just, it was way too much. And this reflects that to an extent, but of course with the touchscreen, it's much, much, much easier to use. The potential is there for this to become a player in the game. Will it become? I don't think so. I don't think at the end of the day, they've kind of learned from the mistakes of the past and learned from what makes Android and iOS the leaders in today's market. It's the ease of use. It's the ability that if you want to have a simplified phone, you can. But if you want to have a really complex phone with lots of menus and folders and all that, you can too. That's the beauty of these, is that if you want to have, you have your iOS or Android, and you want to have one page of some apps, you can do that. If you want to have 7 pages with tons of apps and different things and run all sorts of stuff and do rooting, you can do that too. Although we don't support rooting. We nay or say, you do what you want, but, just say. Anyways. But you know what I mean. Right? It's just an interesting Windows OS that I just don't know. While the potential is there that it could take over the market, I don't think it will. And then at the end of the day, what's that say for Nokia? What's it say Nokia brought out their new 42 megapixel camera and is still using Symbian? Right? I don't know if you guys heard that new phone with 42 megapixel. And it's still using Symbian. Symbian, they've already acknowledged that it's an outdated software, but, why are they still doing that? Why not fully support Microsoft? But I do believe that Nokia may, at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, they may have actually hurt themselves by going with this just because of this weirdness and this cumbersome and, this ease of use. It's almost like the front layer is really nice and easy, and then everything behind is really annoying. It's like taking a pile of dust and dirt and throwing a carpet over it, so it looks nice, but then when you lift up the carpet, it's junk underneath. And that's almost how I felt. But there's also this strange charm to it. It does have this nice charm to it, and it's an interesting phone to look at. One thing to note, right now, again, I have my Galaxy S2. Daddy 1424 has his iPhone 4S. Even Only One Fat Tony and Dolos are running BlackBerry torches. When people see these phones, it grabs their attention. When I show someone my phone, or they show them theirs, everyone's like, "Whoa, wow, look at that phone!" It's definitely something that's a bit of a scene stealer. When you look at this one, when we showed people this phone, I was like, meh. Kind of shows what to say. I mean, when you don't say anything, we didn't say what OS is running or anything. We just powered on. Hey guys, what do you think? Meh, it's okay. So that kind of speaks to the phone itself. If you want to take over this market, they're going to have to do something better. Enough about that. At the end of the day, I give this phone a pass, but a pass with an asterisk, and that asterisk states, watch for the future. I do think there could be a potential here, but for now, it's a pass. Alright, so this is Nexus for TMPG. Take care. Have a good one, guys.